Yeah,
No,
it is,
it's tension from Renier.
No, man.
What? I'm scared of the camera, man.
No, you're not scared of the
really
camera.
Scared.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, I'm really
Proud of
scared.
you, man.
Shona, you see how good?
well.
See how good you're doing?
You're doing so well. You're making me comfortable.
Oh, thank you.
Am I making you guys comfortable?
No, you are. Yeah.
Stop! Don't go to the next channel. We had an event here and we've got two coaches here which I'm going to drill on questions. Watch the space.
Each and every person has the potential to become very successful. Replace average with greatness. Startups, entrepreneurs, and business owners. With biblical principles, he will inform you in everything, business, finance, and career related. He will fight for those of you who feel like underdogs and failures. Get ready for the Underdog Zone.
I'm alive. Oh yeah. Hey, come on. Oh yeah. I'm alive. Oh yeah. Hey, come on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm alive. Oh yeah. Hey, come on. Oh yeah. I'm alive.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for joining us here on a Saturday afternoon. This is your host, Renier Weideman, and I've got two guests on the show, which is Maxwell Coaches. I don't know if you know Maxwell. They're going to explain a little bit about Maxwell and what does he stand for. Actually, most of his content comes from the Bible.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be quite an interesting fact. I've actually heard, before I introduce you guys, I think it was, what's one of those top speakers? It was a top speaker in America. He flew to, I think it was China or Japan, and he started teaching about leadership and he started talking about running businesses. And they said, man, how do you know all of this? How do you know all of this? I said, afterwards, I'll tell you. No, it was Maxwell. Afterwards, I'll tell you. And then afterwards, and people said, like, how do you know all this stuff? He ripped out the Bible and says, this is what I learned everything. So that's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, I've got Shona Sally. Did I say it right?
That's correct.
It's like seashells on the seashore.
Yes.
Okay, Shona Sally. And then I've got Derek you. Me, you. I need to say that, come on. Has anybody always, like, didn't they make jokes about that or not?
They did.
Is it? And then you just started laughing, it's like, whatever.
But it's fun.
Is it? Yeah, you guys don't get face. Remember, I'm gonna drill them. Okay, let's make this show excited. So guys, please tell the heroes out there about your business and what you guys stand for. Why are you a coach of Maxwell?
Oh, okay. Sure. Thank you so much, Renier, for having us on your show, and thank you so much for coming to our event today. And Renier, I think you've seen firsthand what we are about, what the John Maxwell Certified Coaches are about. We are about people. We are into the people development business. And why we do this is really because we think that there's so much potential in people, and our work is to tap that potential, tap people to get into their growth factor and start growing as people. Because our dream is to see the world with more good people than bad people, influencing decisions and all that.
Okay, so that's basically the vision that you guys stand for. Okay, so how do you guys do it? Look, I'm gonna drill you guys.
Oh, sure.
How do you guys do it?
Okay, Shona, you wanna go?
Yeah, I mean, there's various mechanisms, Renier. For me, you go into the mainstream world and you start becoming part of the secular community, and you chase all of the things that you've been told and been conditioned to chase.
Okay.
I need to realize that life is about a whole lot more. So for me, the vision was about working 27 years in corporate, loving what I did, loving where I did it, but realizing that I was so boxed and categorized as to who I needed to be and who I should be and what was performance and what wasn't performance.
Okay.
So really the outside world defining what value was for you, when in truth, God defines your value.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Amen.
And we allow the world to rob that away from us.
Okay.
So for me, the vision was to say, once I realized that, I had a responsibility to help other people realize that too. Sure. And the sad reality is that not everybody goes to a church. And many people stay away from a church for all sorts of different reasons.
Yes.
So they stay locked in their prison. And so my vision and my ministry really was to say, we are all called to disciple people. We are all called to the ministry. some kings, some priests. And to me, this was the kingship of saying, God has given me a gift and a calling and a talent to take His word to people and meet them where they are.
Okay.
So
In
that
the business market.
In the business market, in their world.
We don't get a lot of that. We don't get a lot of people that wants to help people in the business market or outside church. They're too focused in church. And that's why one of the reasons, that's why I started the Hero's Journey, because there's a lot of people that's not in church that feels like a complete underdog. And you know what, you failed not because of what you know, but because of what you don't know. So, and basically what you guys teaches the people is to know what they don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, you
That's,
see,
that's nicely said.
the easiest,
Come on, I know.
well, so the easiest thing with coaching is when you're working with a Christian, with people who have Christian values and beliefs, because it's very easy because of who we subscribe to.
Yeah.
We subscribe to a higher being. When I tell you that you can succeed, I'm telling you because you already have permission from heaven, you know, and it's that divine permission that you can become, you know, that which you want to be, and it's a God-given thing. So it's very easy with Christians than with other beliefs. So it really makes our work easy when we're working with Christians and all that.
All right, great. Okay, so what happens if you don't work with Christians?
Well, the thing is this, like every other person has something that they believe in.
Okay.
So if I'm working with you, I would question you to your very own beliefs, to the cause of your belief. Like if you read my book, I'm very big in beliefs. Like what is the thing that you believe in? Because everybody has a center. You have the things that you hold true, and your whole world kind of like revolves around your beliefs. So when we get to your belief system, it's only if I understand your belief systems, then I can help you, you know, to navigate towards the goals, the kind of goals that you want to achieve, because I understand what you believe.
Okay, so what happens what's the first advice you give people once they get in contact? Maybe one of these people want advice. What's the first advice that you can give them to start living the potential that God created them? After the break. Okay, so guys, we're back. Underdog Zone, Renier Weideman, Shona Sally, and Derek Yoon.
Not me. Not me.
And today we had an event, Live to Lead, and we have beautiful, speakers. John Maxwell, Simon Sinek. Dude, if you don't know who Simon Sinek is, go read him up. I didn't know about these other two speakers. Which is the other two speakers? Liz
Wiseman and Dan Cathy.
All right, so big speakers, and we had our very own local speaker, Victor Familia, and also a very good friend of all of us. I spoke to Victor, and he's going to be in my film.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we've already shot him. You needed to listen what he said. While we were done with the whole shoot, we walked away, and there was a panning effect, and it was on him. It stopped on him, and he did an unscripted thing. He says, "Go well, go shall." Do you remember that "Go well, go shall" advert years ago? Classic. So I'm speaking here with John Maxwell coaches, and they're going to talk. I've asked them a question: what is the first advice they will give you guys if you're contacting them on Facebook or on email, or I don't know if you guys give telephone numbers. I don't recommend that, because maybe they'll go like, the old freaky and stuff. Okay, so let's start with you. So now, what's the first advice you will give somebody that says, "I need help"?
Okay. The first thing I would be saying to them is, what is it that is holding you back in your belief?
Get context of his environment.
Context. So every one of us knows intuitively what it is that is the problem.
So let's call it. There's three topics that people don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about death. Don't want to talk about sex. Don't want to talk about money. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the money part now. So now I need advice on money. I need help. Because remember, God has created an economy system. Because God is a creator, the devil's a duplicator.
Yes.
Okay, so I need help in money. What's the first advice you will do?
As a Christian, the first thing I'd be asking is, are you a tither?
Okay, great. Next one.
The first thing I'll tell somebody is you should be open-minded. If we have to work together, you should be open-minded.
Okay, so advice.
Yes.
Money advice. I like that. Money advice. We actually need to, James, we need to do an intro. Money advice. Money advice.
By virtue of the fact that you are a Christian, you become part and parcel of that royalty
Yes.
So money shouldn't really be an issue with you.
Absolutely.
We are going to get into your life and understand why the money is short at the end of the month, and we're going to fix that. But the first thing that I advise you to do is to be open-minded.
Got it.
As we get into the matters of.
I like it. You see, these guys are smart. The advice I would give is live broke. Live broke and save up, then invest. So that's the one thing that worked in my life for so many years, because I run a successful company and I don't go spend money on cars. I spend money on people, on equipment, on on that stuff. So that's just part of the advice. Okay, so when people come into your coaching environment, what are they going to get out? I mean, there's a lot of people that trains leadership. And we get that, and you can be a better leader, but what's that going to benefit the people?
You know, Renier, if you look at how many books there are on leadership and how much material there is on leadership, when you come into my coaching environment, it's really your coaching environment.
Okay.
It's not about mine, it's about me creating a space for you to be you.
Okay.
And so my starting point is always to say, let's reach inside of you and find out what it is that how do you see leadership? When you look at leadership and you look at where you want to take people and you want to be a role model, what are you looking for? And then let's get you to be that person. So many people look externally and say they should be like that, government should be like this, the pastors should be like that.
But why aren't they like that?
And so my question is, however you believe that they need to be, are you that?
Okay.
And if you are not that, let's start at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we tend to externalize leadership rather than internalizing leadership.
Okay, so let's go to Mandela.
All right. Well, when I want to work with somebody, the very first thing we do is an assessment. Okay. And the contrary to the popular belief that so many people go for coaching because they want more money, it's usually not that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've got experience in that.
Yeah. So we do an assessment. We do an assessment to find out what is it that you want. What is the area of your life that you want to work in? And so many people come in and they're like, it's finance. But you realize that it's a different thing. It's their spiritual life that is broken. That's why they can't do well in their money. You find out that it's their relationships. You find out that it's their career that is not on the right path. That's why, So we do an assessment. That's the starting point.
Got it.
We do an assessment, and it's something that I think every coach should be happy to do an assessment with a client for free. We'll do that assessment with you, and you understand what are the gaps in your life, where do we need to work in your life before we even start.
Okay, so this is the thing that I started realizing the last 2 years. Okay, now I come from the property industry, buy and sell properties. Then I went to transportation. I had 25 trucks, and I deal with a lot of finances. Was a Liberty Life consultant, and then I was filming, and then I started into media, and now I was in ministry, but now I'm TV ministry. And what I've realized is that success is not a matter of how much money you have. And that's the one key thing. A lot of people's success, they achieve success because of their mindset, or because what they think about themselves. And one of the mentors that I know, that I've listened to, is he says that I don't see myself the way I see myself. I see myself the way other people see myself, and that's how I boost their confidence. Because we see ourselves as inferior. We see ourselves as, as nothing, because to us it is like, man, whatever. I've created, it's like my wife. My wife says it all the time. That's why I say I can relate, because I've created two films, businesses, I've got 2 shows, and still sometimes I'm like, when I'm going to start making it? My wife's like, what do you mean,
You're making it.
But is it, most of the people that comes into your business, into your coaching environment, do they have more or less the same false problems about believing in themselves, not have enough confidence, not believing that they are allowed to start making money for their families?
It's definitely the equalizer amongst people. I from the most senior executives that I've dealt with, when you get down to the grassroots of things, it's a self-confidence issue. And it's not always easy for them to admit it.
Yeah.
But once you get in and you dig deep, it really is about limiting self-belief.
Do you believe that there's a higher percentage chance that you will be successful if you are more confident?
Yes, and
There is a correlation there, but it's just really not that. I've met people who are really not confident at all. But if you want to measure success, especially in terms of money, they've got lots of it. So it's really not, that's not a measure of success, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. So confidence is not that. Okay, so what's the difference between, because you guys are leadership coaches, so a strong leader might be seen as arrogant.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
sure.
Okay, so what's the difference?
To me, it's about self-control. Sometimes people get so confident that they think that they're above other people. So their confidence overshadows other people. And that's when the humility's got to come in. It's about self-control and saying, you know what?
Okay, good.
If I'm good, I'm only as good as I can sow into somebody else's life.
Okay.
If I'm good on my own, I'm not that good after all, if that makes sense. So it's almost a false confidence when you think you're that good that you overshadow other people.
Okay. Okay, so how do people, draw the line between if they're arrogant or if they have humility? How more or less can you draw that line? Like, how do you know when you're like, I'm arrogant or I've just got a strong leadership skills?
Well, you can always find that out through feedback. If you open clear feedback loops, not the type of say I have an open door policy and people are still scared of you to come. You should have means that people should even reach you anonymously and say, hey boss, this is what's going wrong. This is what I don't like. You should have those type of feedback loops. And you should find time to go through those things. Like so many companies I've worked with, they've got those suggestion boxes and all that.
Yeah.
And I once asked this guy,
that doesn't work,
so how many times do you go through all this, suggestions and all that?
Do something with it.
And he said, none of them. I don't really go. It's just there, and I don't never get time to go. So you have to open a feedback loop and intentionally always go back to that feedback loop to check what are people saying, what are my people saying, what are my clients saying. You need to measure all those things, then it would actually be a reflection of how you are behaving or how you are leading.
Okay. Have you guys ever coached with pastors?
I wouldn't say coach in a formal arrangement,
but mentor.
definitely mentorship and discuss. Yes.
Is it? Is it difficult to mentor them? Because they know a lot about the Bible. Like, no, that doesn't work. Come on, I need to get the raw stuff out.
Pastors are people too.
Yeah,
so
I
you
know.
have the same challenges with pastors that you do with other people.
Okay.
They probably, in my experience, I do find that they are more receptive to open conversation.
Okay.
But they do hit barriers because it's hard. It's hard to get to a point of admitting, I don't know it all.
That's the thing. So do you think that when people come into your mentorship, that they need to have, like you said, an open mind?
Yes.
Okay? And the humility to get the feedback to start growing. So do you think humility is maybe this first starting point of growing in your...
Absolutely.
You have to be it's a big ingredient. And when I say have an open mind, I've been in situations where I have an opportunity to coach somebody, and in that process, I end up being the person who benefits more than the client. So I go in, so I go in with a very open mind into every coaching session, and I'm very open to learning, from the client as the client learns from me. So we don't come with the answers. We come with intelligent questions that would really make you, to think, change, shift your perspective, and all that. So we don't really bring answers. We just come to you with intelligent questions and we frame them around your own thinking.
Then you change their perspective. All right, so I've got two questions for you. The one is, what would you do if you're president? And what would you do if you could start your own business right now, after the break?
Oh, thank you. What would you do if you're president?
Exactly.
Brilliant
I'm putting you on the
question.
spot. All right. Guys, welcome, Underdog Zone, the third and the last session. I asked these ladies and gentlemen very difficult questions, and maybe you need to ask yourself a question as well. What would you do if you're president? Please, if you do that, go onto my Facebook page. There's a link below. Go to my Facebook page, and then maybe inbox us and say, what would you do if you were president? Maybe you will just have a nice idea, then I could just forward to our president. I don't know if it's going to get there.
Good idea.
And then maybe you can change Africa. I don't know. Maybe God has positioned you to do that. So take action. If you want to be president, you need to take some sort of action, man. Come on. All right. Guys, what would you do? The first thing, only one thing, if you are president?
I'd run. No, I'm joking.
Okay, that's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work. And there's nowhere to hide. No, without a doubt, I would ensure that I never lost my faith in what God has ordained me to do.
Great.
So
Never lost the vision God
Yes.
has installed for
If
you.
God has appointed you to a presidency, you need to understand He's done it for a reason.
Oh, yes.
And so I think the number one thing for me is to say, Lord, help me,
Got it.
guide me. Number two, I'd be focusing on education.
I like that. Education is key, eh? Okay, what would you do?
Oh, wow, that would be
Sign
it
a
would be a-
nuclear weapon deal.
It would be an honor, and the very first thing would be, to hold myself God focused, to stay
Yeah.
what Shona said, because if I don't stay grounded in God, I'm gonna go astray.
It can be overwhelming. I mean, you've got so much power.
It is overwhelming. Just the thinking of it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
So that's the very first
He was
thing I
like,
do.
he was like on break. He was like, "What would I do? What would I do?" You got it in,
Yeah,
James.
so the first thing would be to, stay grounded in God. I think I'll get a couple of pastors around me
Got it.
as mentors just to hold me, accountable, especially to my spiritual life. So that I
That's
stick
what
to
Donald Trump's done now.
Yeah.
He got all the leaders in America to pray for him.
Yeah.
No, nobody's perfect. There's people out there, we all make mistakes. We're not perfect, and we get that. That's why I believe that you need a mentor in your life. I've got a mentor. While the conference was out there, I've spoken to a mentor of mine. So the thing is, you need mentors. You need somebody else's perspective. So do you guys probably obviously feel very strong about having a mentor in your life.
Without a doubt.
Okay, so do you guys have mentors?
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of mentors.
Do you guys want to share that mentors with us?
Sure.
Well, both of us have a mutual mentor in John
And
Maxwell.
your Maxwell,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
The John Maxwell faculty are made available to us.
Got it.
So we have the opportunity to be mentored by them. I also have Les Brown. Today you met Jan Roberts.
Yes.
Without a doubt, going to be put on my board as a new mentor.
There we go.
My pastor, who happens to just be a really good friend of mine, she's my best friend.
Okay,
My mentor.
so you get a marriage mentor. When you are sick, you get a doctor's or a pastor's mentor. Okay, spiritual mentor, then you get financial mentor. What type of mentor are you guys?
As a coach, we work some kind as a mentor to our clients. It's a very fine line. We don't really mentor them, but the kind of advice that we give, it comes like, okay, I'll listen to you and I'll come back to you and resound, or what you've given me as a mentor, as a wiser version of yourself.
Okay, so every time when they want to start a business, they're like, okay, Derek, I want to phone you. You're my mentor in life. Is this going to work or not? Then you start giving them perspectives and guidance and all. Is that basically what you guys also do?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, so I want to start a business. Okay, I want to start a water business.
Okay, maybe I want to take you around that area of mentorship.
Please.
Because there's a very it's a buzzword now in society where
Okay.
you have to find a mentor. You have to find a mentor.
Everybody
the
says
the
that.
first
Got it.
thing you have to realize is that people are busy. People are busy because of our society today. To make ends meet, people have to be busy, and especially the people you look up to, they're even double busy than yourself.
Yeah.
And to get a mentor, you have to find a way to add value to that person so that that person can see you. I'm amazed by the number of people I've met, just through Facebook, just through conversations on Facebook. And this guy came from Nigeria and he said, Derek, I want to meet you. And it's somebody that I look up to, I hold in very high esteem. And I never thought he would call me to meet me. But when he got here, because of the kind of conversations we've been having, he says, I want to meet you. And we spent a whole day together and it was just bliss. So you try to be intelligent when you're talking to somebody. You try to speak in a way that adds value to that person. You don't just interrupt people because you need a mentor. No, you go and you say, what can I do to add value to this person?
Yes.
You can even go and do research, about what they're doing and come and contribute valuable ideas to what they're saying, to what they're doing and all that. Then you will gain their interest. Then
So
you
it's
can get-
basically, it's a kingdom principle about you need to give first and then to receive.
Yes, and it's really not that necessarily giving, but it's exchange of value somehow. It's exchange
Okay.
of value. You don't just call me up and say, Derek, I want you to mentor me. First, I don't know you. Second, I don't have an interest in you. And I've got a lot of people that I've got interest on, and they're not doing so
Yeah,
well.
you're mentoring a lot of people.
Yes, yes, they're struggling. So I need to have an interest in you. So you have to kind of like sell yourself to your mentor. And another way of getting mentorship is just through books, through resources online. If you like one of my biggest mentors is Jim Rohn, and he's of late.
Jim Rohn was also the mentor for Tony Robertson.
Yes, yes. So, and Jim Rohn, I never had the opportunity to meet him up
Yeah.
till when he died.
Yeah.
But I learn from Jim Rohn every day. If you look at my quotes, I think about 40% of them are Jim Rohn's quotes. And every day, I have a journal, a yearly journal, and I rotate it every year, and it's Jim Rohn's. And this is the most, I probably learned the most from him and John Maxwell. And this person is my mentor, and he doesn't even know me. It's just through reading, it's through researching and all that. So mentorship doesn't necessarily mean you get somebody into your life. You can get this through reading. You can get this. If you hear people drop a name, say for instance, Barack Obama is a great guy. He's written 4 books. Read his books first. Get all the advice in his books. Read the things that he does. It's going to teach you a lot.
So that leads me to the next one. You got a book. People can buy it. Is it available online?
Yes, it's available. The website is Unlocking Your True Potential. Just the first letters is UYTP.
There's a link here.
Yeah, UYTP.co.za. If you go on there, you can purchase it. You can also get it from Amazon.
All right, great. We're going to put up a link for him. Go get his book. The event that was here, are you selling the coaching?
Bolted onto the event is a mastermind coaching program.
Yes. Live to lead.
Yes, we basically, all the details of what was unpacked in today's conference will be unpacked in greater levels and depth.
So they can purchase that?
Yes.
All right. Would you give me the link? I'm asking on TV. Would you give me the link?
I will.
Yes.
So that if these people might be interested, taking their lives to the next level, they can get in contact with you.
With pleasure.
All right. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very
Renier.
much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
it. Always a pleasure.
And thank you so much for your viewers, man, for having us on your show.
Views
It's
are
always
awesome.
a pleasure, man.
There's so many people contacting us regarding the Underdog Zone. So I would like to say thank you guys for just watching. We are on episode 68 and we're going to 100. Let's pray for us, please. Thank you very much, guys, for supporting the Underdog Zone. Thank you for becoming a hero in 2016. 2017 is almost around the corner, and we're going to help you to take your business, even your personal life, to the next level. Guys, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Have a good one.